Thank you for joining us today. My name is Dr. Wole Omogunsoye. On this channel, as Dr. Wole, focus on entrepreneurship and business opportunity in Nigeria and America. To God be the glory. I live in both countries. Depending on the time of the day you call me, I'm always here to tell you about the business opportunity that may work for you. But today we are going to talk on plantain business. This business, there are 7 different ways you can make money, both in Nigeria and America. But to start with, I'm going to focus on the basic, the first 3, the fundamental 3 ways of making money. And this focus more in Nigeria market. So please follow me as I dive into this one by one. So Nigerians typically eat plantain. We love plantain. We eat plantain for breakfast, for lunch, and dinner. But what most people don't look at or think about is the business side of it. There are millions on the table that we are not even talking about. There are many graduates in Nigeria looking for what to do. This is a business opportunity that I would like for every one of them to pay attention to. If you live in the US and you have a family member in Nigeria that you are trying to support, this is a business opportunity you can push to them without wasting our time. You see, buying from cheaper states and reselling it in high demand cities like Lagos is point number 1. You see, I am from Ondo State, proud Ojefen boy. I talk about Ondo State a lot, and I will probably mention it a lot in all my videos. Ondo State, Edo State, Delta, Ekiti produce a lot of plantain. Anyone can look into buying plantain from this area and resell it in Lagos, in Port Harcourt, in Kano, in Kaduna, anywhere you live. The most important thing is for you to source it in states that produce it the most for a cheaper price, and you resell it. You see, before I dive into the money breakdown part of it, you see, it is very important that you connect directly with the farmers or through middleman like me, because I can see sometimes it may be difficult for someone, even in Yoruba land in Lagos, to go to Ondo, to go somewhere they've never been to, looking for farmers. If you don't have friends in those areas, I don't recommend it. It may not be safe. There are many people that live in those states that you can connect with. If you want more information, please reach out to us. You have to buy this plantain in bulk at cheaper price. That is the best way for you to make money. You don't go to Ondo and buy 2 bunch and say you are doing business. I usually recommend at least 5 dozens. And I'm going to use 5 dozen as an example in this video. Third, transport them to Lagos, Abuja, Port Harcourt, anywhere you want to, with a reliable driver. Don't allow them to just pack your plantain anyhow that it will fall on the street. You want to make sure that the plantain is in good condition. For example, a dozen of big plantain recently sold in Ondo State for 25,000. Plantain are usually sold in dozens, in markets, in farmland, usually in dozens. And a dozen was sold in Lagos for 40,000. Real life example. See, a bunch of plantain, one, it's called a bunch, right? Usually weighs about 10 kg on average, so that you can have a better idea. We're going to use that 10 kg down the line in the video. And a bunch, if you buy for 25,000, if you buy a dozen for 25,000, so I guess we can assume now that a bunch, just one bunch, we cost around 2,000 naira. So let's use 2,000 naira for just one bunch. And with that, that means in Lagos, you can sell it for around 4,000 naira. So let's say you buy 5 dozen. 5 dozen. That is 60 bunches, right? So 60 multiplied by 2,000 will give you 120,000 naira. If you transport that to Lagos, say from Ondo State to Lagos State, averaging 500 naira per bunch, that will take you to 30,000 naira plus 120,000 naira. That is 150,000 naira cost. Now, you're probably going to eat, you're going to take bike in between. If you are the one that, transport yourself there, you're probably going to pay about 10 to 12,000 to get to Ondo, things like that. I didn't factor that, but even if you factor that, you can at least take those out of your net profit. So, but for easy calculation, 30,000 transportation cost for the plantain, 120,000 to buy them. That is 150,000. If you resell them for 3,500 naira per bunch, remember I used 4,000 earlier. So let's bring it down to 3,500. That will be 210,000 naira. If you subtract 150 from that, that is 60,000 naira per trip. And I'm sure you should be able to do one trip per week. 60,000 multiplied by 4. That is over 200,000. So 240,000. I'm sure you are not going to spend 40,000 to eat or whatever. So you can at least send that 40,000 for your transportation to Ondo and to eat whatever you want to say. And the good thing about this is that the moment you travel down to this state, you can easily network with the locals. If you're not using middlemen like us, or people like your friend, I don't want to say like us, like your friend, you can easily network with these farmers or your direct contacts, and they can just literally put your plantain, or you can do WhatsApp video call. They put it on the bus, and then you transfer money to them. You don't have to go every time. All you have to take care is where you are going, your buyer in Lagos or Port Harcourt or Abuja or Kano. So average trader makes between 58,000 and 200,000 per trip, depending on how much you are buying. Like I said, if you buy 5 dozen, which is 60 bunches, no matter how bad it is, you will make 50,000 naira. Multiply by 4. Once a week, that is 200,000 naira. Easy. Number 2, selling plantain suckers. See, people don't pay attention to this. And the reason why is because a lot of people don't even know how plantain works. I was born in Ilalogy in the farmland. I grew up on the farmland. Just one plantain tree, or whatever we call it, can produce more than 5 suckers. That is why when you plant plantain, you really don't have to replant it, because as that one is growing up and that one is coming up, when you cut the first one, the second one is in less than a month, you're already. So practically those suckers, the more they are, farmers have to cut some of them and sell it to other people. Averagely, you can buy all those things from farmers at 200,000 naira. You can resell them between 300 and 500, depending on the city or where you want to, take it to. It's one business that a lot of people are not paying attention to. I know this because I bought hundreds, thousands of sucker that I use them on my farmland. Those things add up. A good example, if you buy 500 sucker at 200 naira, that's 100,000 naira. And you can sell them for 500, like I said. That is 250,000 naira. So, product, that's 150,000 naira profit. I don't care how much it costs you, you know, transportation, food. It cannot be, you cannot spend half of 150,000 on it, on those things. If you do that twice a month, that's 150,000 minimum profit. If you do that once a week, the most important thing between these two businesses I just talked about, like I mentioned in my previous video about palm oil, the first thing you need to do, find your buyer, people that will buy this product from you. The moment you have 2, 3, 4, 5 in line to source it, where you're going to buy it from is the easiest thing. Easy in the sense that I just told you, Ondo State, Edo, Ekiti. These people plant plantain every day. It's in surplus over there. And yes, you can scale the plantain sucker. It's very easy. The third one is supplying companies. You see, this is where it gets better, easier. You see, there are many companies, small, large, medium companies that need plantain. A lot of us been to supermarket on the side that you see different plantain chips that people, different brand. All these companies need plantain constantly. Don't let us forget that plantain can get bad very fast. Their life cycle is limited, or should I say, its life cycle is very short. So this company need constant supply of plantain, as in plantain chips companies. So you can literally be supplying a company easily 5 tons or two. I mean, if I say 2 tons, I even use 2 tons. That is 2,000 pounds a week, or a month, depending on the company. So the example I have here is 200 naira per kg. If you break my calculation down, that is about 200 naira per kg. Multiply by 2,000 kg will give you 400,000 naira. If you transport it for 100,000 from Ondo to Lagos, 100,000, that's again 500 naira per bunch. And the company buys it from you at 350 naira per kg, that is 700,000 naira. That is a profit. That's a profit of 200,000 naira per trip. Imagine if you have 2, 3, 4, 5 companies. Now I talk about plantain chips. Plantain flour is one business that we'll talk about in the next video. But you can supply companies that produce plantain flour also. They need it in abundance. And the good thing about it is that they can preserve it once you sell to them. That's a different conversation. Look for companies that produce plantain flour, companies that produce plantain chips, and you can easily supply them easily. Like so easy. Well, there are challenges to expect in this business. First, high transportation costs. Every driver out there can try to extort you. Find the best driver with reasonable price. I mean, I use 500 naira as a benchmark. That's reasonable. I mean, but that can change based on issues on the road. Storage issue. Plantain is not something you want to store. You want the end user to store it, most especially those that are using it for flour. Price fluctuation during season. There's plantain season, peak season, and there's slow season. You want to pay attention to that. The prices change. Yes, all the time. But averagely, you want to keep up with the prices of plantain on a weekly basis. It's all about supply and demand. The 25,000, 45,000 example I gave you was last week. Real life example. This week may have changed. It may be 20,000 versus 50,000. It depends. Pay attention to that. And trust issue with middleman. You want to create good relationship, which leads me to tip for success in this business. You want to build strong relationship with transporter and the farmers, the wholesaler. If you are using middleman, that will help you a lot. You want to try as much as possible to buy from the farmer or farmers themselves, so you can save more money. You can cut the middleman. If you contact me to help you find, if you contact me to help you to supply you plantain, I will probably add maybe 500 naira to it because I have to pay my employees. But guess what? You really don't need me if you are able to get hold of the farmer. But you have to do some due diligence and some work. You can diversify. Basically, you can add point number one, point number two, selling the plantain and selling the sucker at the same time. You can go as far as number four topic I will talk about down the line. Um, Drying plantain and reselling to flour mill companies, a different conversation. Start small and learn your mistakes with lower number and scale up. Always reinvest your profit. Don't spend all the money. Small profit added to it, and then you can scale up like that way. In this business, trust me, you can make over $1 million on a monthly basis. But I use this simple example for those that are just at home looking for something to do, looking for work to do at 100,000, a month. You can spend less time doing this and more time with yourself to advance yourself or with your family. In closing, you see, in whether you want to buy from cheap states and selling in Lagos or trading soccer, you know, plantain is just a gold mine. It's gold when you do it right. You know, um, most people only see plantain as food, like I said in the beginning of this video. Smart entrepreneurs see it as a business opportunity to generate income. And that's the purpose of this video. If you enjoyed this video, like I said in the beginning, please click that subscribe button, click like, and share this video with people that will benefit from it. If you have any question for me, please drop it in the comment section. Most importantly, if you want me to talk in detail or about other topic or anything about plantain that I haven't mentioned, like I told you in the beginning, there are 7 ways to make money in plantain. It may be 9 that I'm not aware of. I mean, that I didn't mention. I know of 7 good ways that anybody can do. Let me know. Drop it in the comment section. Thank you so much for taking your time to watch this video. Hope to see you next time. Thank you.